Now, a little known fact about the town of Chloride is if you travel outside of town, you have a special little spot that has a whole lot of Indian petroglyphs and of course the murals. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, allow me to demonstrate. These are the murals that are painted all over the rocks, right outside of town. It's really something to see. And you'll see petroglyphs everywhere up here too. You've had Paiute, and then before them was the Anasazi. And there's some right there. See the petroglyphs right there? Isn't that nice? And that right there is the Tennessee Mine. Now the Tennessee Mine is the big mine at the end of the street, Tennessee Boulevard. Biggest producer in Chloride. And of course they're still working it today. And later on I'll take you over there and I'll show you some of the sulfides that are laying about and some of the float. And I'll show you some old photographs from the past when I used to come up here in the 80s. Simply amazing. The amount of work and dedication it took to paint all these murals. Absolutely amazing. All right, real quick, what type of rock is this? Huh? It's all over here up in the Surbat mountain range. And if you guys watch my videos long enough, you should be able to see this rock and know right away. So leave me a comment down below and tell me what kind of rock it is. I'll tell you what it is later. We'll see if we got any smart fellers out there, not just fart smellers. Looks like could be some ore right there. Look at that one. Yep. Look at these petroglyphs everywhere. See that? There's a whole bunch of them right there. They're all over the rocks. Ooh, somebody left me brownies. Just like Mama used to make. There's another one right there. Beautiful. See where these two were joined together? There was actually a fissure running between the two. And then you had this quartz precipitate out right in between the two, and then weathering fractured it. Isn't that cool? Like that one right there, see that? And then it gets fractured off right there. Tons and tons of these quartz veins. Of course, those quartz veins have a very specific name, and I've talked about them before, and I want you to tell me what they are, okay? If not, I'm going to tell you at the end of the video, so keep them pants on. Wow. Look at those murals, isn't that cool? It must have taken forever to paint them. Oh, that is nice. No, it's not nice. It's ore. Look at that. Oh, there's the ore vein right there. Yeah, here's the single drum hoist. Look at that. Oh, belt too. So you can drive something with this. And here's the drum for the hoist. Wow, it looks like somebody removed the head. Yeah. Oh, a little baby lizard right there. There you are. The head sat right there. So there's the crankshaft right there. And the connecting rod and the piston and the head were bolted right here. But somebody is long gone taking it. I wonder if it still moves. Oh, look at this. Let's see. Oh, it still moves. Wow. And it moves easy too. Got a little bit of a crack there. Crack there. Crack there. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's easy too. Look at that. Wow, so easy. This thing's got to be over 100 years old. There's the brake band. There's the clutch. So this right here is the clutch. See that? It shoves it in and out and operates that drum. That way this thing can keep running like it does on a car. You can take it out of gear, in a gear. So these are the two levers down here, all right? This is for your brake. It comes over here to your brake band. You see that? That's what makes this guy stop. And then the clutch, which is right here, goes down to him and comes over to here, and they would mount off of this guy right here. You'd have a lever here and a lever here. The guy would stand off to the side. This thing would run all the time. More than likely it was a hit and miss engine, and this would be spinning all the time. But this shaft through this clutch would connect to this drum. So even though that's spinning all the time, this is not. Does that make sense? And then you could run a belt from here to your compressor. So this did everything. But what's amazing is after 150 years, it still spins freely. Freewheel burning, baby! Burning, baby! There's the rest of the clutch assembly in there, you see it? I mean, the base alone must weigh a good 2,000 pounds, if not more. And the head frame's gone, but they were hoisting out of here. You can see a beautiful ore. I want you to tell me what you see. Do you see anything unusual? Huh? Now, if you guys have watched my videos for any length of time, you would have picked up on it right away. I've got two piles here. I've got one pile that I'm standing on that's dark, and it looks like somebody sampled it and of course put a claim on it. And then I got another one over there that looks more like porphyry. Now remember, I always told you, look for your high grade, low grade piles. They're gonna be outside of some of these smaller mines, especially if they didn't have an ore bin. So what they'd have to do is once the ore was hoisted up, they would have to put it into its own pile and then later put it in bags and then ship it off to the mill, which is right around the corner here. So I always tell you, look for your high grade, low grade piles around these smaller mines, because that's where you want to sample, and they've already done the work for you. So there's a potential for having a lot of gold sitting right on the ground just waiting for you to come by and sample it. So remember that, look for your high grade, low grade piles. You can see where there's a test pit there and a test pit here. And you see it connects, there's the outcropping right here. See this beautiful, oh, that's real beautiful ore. See the outcropping? So what they did is they went down the hill to get up underneath it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? See the zone of alteration right there? They call that porphyry. It's real soft, and the quartz monzonite has been altered. And you have the beautiful vein material right there. They were about, and you can see where they're getting ready to sink a shaft right here. You see that? This is your ore material right here. See that? This is what you need to sample. You'll see a string of mines. There's the Tennessee mine right there. It goes from that hill to here, straight line here, all the way across. And it goes up over the side of this hill too, and there's a huge mine over there as well. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because a lot of times you're gonna have parallel veins right next to each other. So when you find a high grade vein that's been mined out, don't get discouraged. Look for a parallel vein nearby. It may be just below the surface, but it's very, very common to have those. And you also want to look for what's called an extension vein. Extension veins are basically where they think that the vein has dipped down and disappeared, but then it comes back up maybe 100 yards away or maybe a couple miles away. But those are called extension veins. So remember that, parallel veins and extension veins. And they can be very rich, just as rich as the existing vein. Ah, look what I see. Ooh, that's a nice outcropping right there. You see it? Bunch of float. Quartz. There's a whole bunch more. You see it? Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, what am I showing you? Well, we're just south of the Tennessee mine. And part of the mill structure was here too. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because if you go out prospecting, a good place to look is around the old mill sites. Look for any piles of rocks that don't belong there. And that is what you're gonna sample from, because many a time I found piles of rocks at mill sites that never got milled, and they still had gold in them. So make sure you do that, and I see one right now. Let's take a look at it. See this? Do you see the different coloration here? That doesn't belong here. Somebody put this here. And based off of the color and the smell, I'd say these are sulfides. You see what I mean? Rocks like this, beautiful, perfect for sampling. You can see and smell the sulfide in this. Right there. Oh my gosh, just loaded with sulfides. You can see where the sulfides are starting to dissolve the country rock as it mixes with water. So what's happening here is that as the sulfur oxidizes out of this pyrite, looks like arsenopyrite, what happens is the sulfur mixes with rainwater and turns into sulfuric acid. As it does that, it'll slowly eat away and dissolve the country rock. And that's why this looks so pitted. And you can see some of the sulfides still down inside around all those pits. These are perfect rocks to sample because a lot of times the sulfur's been liberated from the sulfide, leaving behind the gold, the iron, and if it's arsenopyrite, the arsenic too. So be careful with that. Ooh, what the heck is that, huh? How many people out there know what that is? If you file claims, you better know what that thing is. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what it is if you think you know what it is. Ooh, that's a big iguana. Do you see him? Right there in the bush. I haven't seen an iguana like that in a long time. He's huge. Almost like a chuckawalla, but he's not. That's an iguana. Look at that guy. Ooh, he's a big one. All right, we'll leave him alone. Look at these foundations. Jeez, they're monstrous. Based on this shape right here, you see this? This kind of bowl. What does that tell you that used to sit here? It's got like a little bowl here, and you got 2 anchor points here and 2 anchor points in the back. This is a no-brainer. Anybody? I'm sorry, what? Smart fellers or fart smellers? What? Fart smellers? Huh? Now, ball mill used to sit here. That's obvious. So like I said, check around these old mill sites because you can find some really good ore left behind that never made it to the crushing circuit. And if you find a ball mill, always check inside in between the armor plates because a lot of the gold, if they didn't clean it out, is still stuck in there. There's some rose quartz. See the rose quartz? Beautiful looking rose quartz.